Excellent. Welcome to the virtual book launch for NOMBONO, an anthology of speculative poetry by BIPOC creators from around the world, presented by the Sundress Publications and the Sundress Academy for the Arts. In this stunning, and here it is. Today also, if you haven't checked it out, it is now available for free as a free e-anthology on our website. You can also order a hard copy through our website as well, and we'll have some links for that here momentarily. So really excited about the anthology, really excited to have all of these amazing writers here joining us today. In the stunning and imaginative NOMBONO, an anthology of speculative poetry by BIPOC creators from around the world, we are presented with visions, invocations, foretellings, and bold harbingers. NOMBONO, drawing from the Zulu word for visionary, brings together mystical dreams and possibilities that are at times both striking and devastating. This anthology asks, are we on a bright threshold or at the edge of a dark precipice? Are we about to take flight and evolve or plummet into cataclysm? Around each corner in this book, there might be a hyena man, a salmon woman, Mananggal, prayers or curses. There is a steady, unbroken eye contact, and there is fierce joy and fury. Here we have limitless, boundless exploration of resplendent worlds. The print version of NOMBONO can be purchased. There's a link on here, or you can download your free e-version on our website, which has recently become much fancier. We're still in the soft launch stages, so if you see some broken links, in general, don't tell, we're on it. So we're super excited to have you. And we're super excited to a major thanks to all of the folks who helped create this anthology. Most importantly, Akua Leslie Hope, who curated and did all of the amazing work in terms of making this anthology exactly like it just is just such a beautiful and important collection in the world. So we're really excited to be here to celebrate its launch today. I also do want to send out a thanks to Bryn Martin, who isn't able to join today. She is our e-anthology editor, series editor, and she was one of the people who helped work behind the scenes on this. Also a big thank you to Anna Black, who is here tonight and will be helping co-host this event, and will be introducing our first 9 readers for tonight. So I'll take it away, Anna.
Getting us started tonight is Owolabi Aboyade, is a new African father, poet, MC, essayist, and portal hopper whose work has received recognition by the Science Fiction Poetry Association and the Odd Contest. Thank you for getting us started today, Owolabi, and we look forward to hearing you read.
Thank you very much. It's an honor to be here. I'm at my clinic appointment, so I apologize for the background noise, rhythms, or music. They say that the personal is political, and in these days of climate change and the sensuality of unresolved uncertainty, we say the emotional is geographic, especially when it's catastrophic. Angry clouds. Did you know that clouds live so far from home and safety that the faces of the humans blur and wander on the earth? As a child, I stared up between molecules, oxygen twitching, especially stark evenings, splayed out breathing, silently after beatings, like the time my legs forgot to take the weekend's trash out back or to rinse the plates again. My friends below, they called me weird because I melted before their very eyes. Kinetic formations fold water like my legs held welts, memories dancing under belts of different thickness, flashing, floating to horizons. In Mississippi, angry clouds poured sudden snows, which splashed electric systems, life support was shattered right before the spring announced itself. As they scrambled for their jackets and the sweaters, then we melted, and the water soaked into the bloody soil and ran away. And in that moment, in those moments, angry clouds grew sparkling darker, and a black boy slowly dancing, frantic, quiet breath as fragile glass. He closed his cloudy eyes and disappeared. Thank you for having me.
Mm. Thank you so much, Owolabi. Next up is Amelia Diaz Edinger, who is a Mexican born in Mexico, but raised in Puerto Rico. She has 2 full-length poetry books published, Learning to Love a Western Sky by Airlie Press, and a bilingual poetry book, Speaking at a Time, or Hablando a la Vez, by Red Hat Press, and a poetry chapbook, Fossils in a Red Flag, by Finishing Line Press, out in 2021.
Thank you, Erin, and thank you to everybody to be here tonight. Is a privilege. Thank you, Anna and Sundress Publications. Now I'm going to be reading The Disgruntled Wife. His words spewed from his mouth like an angry cartoon. She could see each one hit his carpet. Kapunk, kapunk, anvils on his floor. She did the only sensible thing to do at times like this. She collapsed his mandibles, then squeezed his eyeballs into one. An insufficient cyclops. His organs, tissues, cells turned to a marble ball of blood. And his skin, she crawled into, crumbled. Next, she went for his molecules and atoms, collapsed without no extra space. Those galactic distances condensed without their air. He was so small, smaller than a mote of dust. Satisfaction for the disgruntled wife. She clapped her hands and began to clean her house. By now, he was invisible, so she hoovered him along with the anvils on her carpet. Thank you.
Thank you, Amelia. Next up is Andrew Jeffrey Cuaven Amaz, he, him, who is a writer and teacher of Anglo-Ghanaian heritage who explores social constructs of race, identity, and liminal landscapes. You can visit him at his website at agkmoss.com and on Twitter as agkmoss.
Wonderful, thank you very much, and it's great to be here. I'd like to share my poem, Nyankapoxican Breath of Fresh Air, which was inspired by the Afrofuturist Detroit electro duo Drexciya, and I hope in the poem to extend their thought experiment of an alternative Black history of a deep sea civilization. Nyankapoxican Breath of Fresh Air. We can't breathe, cried the diasporic seeds on barren soils, signals sent by those tethered to Africa, Europe, and the Americas, picked up on a marine radar radio by deep sea Drexciyan dwellers, riding high under waves of isolation in a bubbled metropolis, traveling on aquabarn in cruiser control. We can't breathe, weak breath signals picked up in Africa, Europe, and the Americas, progeny of those labelled sick and disruptive, thrown off foul-scented slave ships on their middle passages. They swam from their mother's wombs, learning to breathe, to found subaqueous empires and freshwater trajectories, formed deep-seated civilizations beneath a vast, dark abyss created by transatlantic slavery, brave alternative histories. We can't breathe, weak breath signals picked up in Africa, Europe, and the Americas, valiantly escaping through aqua wormholes, enslaved removals evolved into wave jumpers, stingray, and barracuda battalions, to Positron Island, Bubble Metropolis, Danger Bay, reaching Drexia in stages, evolutionary deep black Atlantic Ocean navigation, an aqua zone surrounding isolated archipelago. We can't breathe. Weak breath signals picked up in Africa, Europe, and the Americas. The next Drexian quest? Communicate to save land-lumbered souls from the prison industrial complex, colonization, decolonization, institutional racism, post-industrialization, macro and micro aggressions, global warming oppression. We can't breathe. Weak breath signals picked up in Africa, Europe, and the Americas. They sent sonic invasions from their underwater techno pirate stations, helping those struggling to survive. Adverse, intense climactic changes attacking the mainstream of airwaves, allowing oppressed souls to breathe. A rescue mission dreamt up by Drexian REST, research, experimentation, science and technology. New systems to allow breathing were developed in the tropo, stratos, mesos, thermos, and eventually exospheres. Finally, flying, releasing estranged cousins from the effects of transatlantic slavery. Breathing. We can breathe in deep sea and space, terrestrial, seabed to esospheric adaptation, traveling dimensional portals, jumping holes at liminal crossroads, neo-evolution from Drexian to Nyancapoxican, extraterrestrial, storm weathering, then harnessing, formation of a single continuous superfield, hybrid reality, mediating all mass, space, time, and energy, innovative molecular enhancement technologies, the stolen plotting liberation after surviving, abject global conditioning, deep in the ocean, on land and air, soul survivors regrouping, readying for the journey home, future, wherever we choose to go.
Thank you so much, Andrew. Next up is Ansley Moon, who is the author of the poetry collection, How to Bury the Dead, out of Black Coffee Press. Moon has received awards or fellowships from Barbara Deming Memorial Fund, Kundiman, and the May Fellowship, among others.
Hi, everybody. Good evening. I just want to make sure, can you hear me okay? Yeah, okay. Thank you so much for being here. This is such a pleasure and an honor to be here with all of you and hear your work. And special thanks to Sundress and Anna and Akua and also Erin. Thank you so much for this. So I'm just going to read my very short poem from the collection. It's called Notes on Water. And it's a poem that's really about grief and loss and motherhood. And I was thinking about that Toni Morrison quote that says that all water has memory and is forever trying to get back. But I was really thinking about, what if we don't leave? What if we stay together? What does that look like? Notes on Water. I was born in the garden of 1,000 tears. My mother opened her eyes, and forth came my brothers and sisters. Soft and cool, they raced down her cheeks, wetting the soil beneath her. I was number 1,087. My brother, 1,068, came from the middle eyelid, a rare occurrence, and strayed left into her ear. She sunk into the ocean, Green mangoes floated around her, larger than her breast. The salt began to liquefy her skin, and slowly we all became one body of water. Thanks, everybody.
I hate it when the mute button gets stuck. Thank you, Ansley. Next up is Chingy Chen, they, them, who is the author of The Heart's Traffic and Recombinant, winner of the 2018 Lambda Literary Award for Transgender Poetry. Visit their website at chingychen.com.
Everyone, so excited to be here. And I'm gonna read a poem that has had two threads. So every time I read it, it might be different. And I'm just gonna read today's version. Yes, stalker. A new green thing I had never seen before. A small, crooked orange eye, stopping up mouth. My own unfolding segment, green pot left outside my door as moss. No taste, prickly bit. I opened my door to consider her. Did she want to come into the cool? ? Did she, in corner you can't, want to dry? ? See passageway clearing. I moved her closer to opening and waited for any sound or movement to see if her breath would catch. I closed door then to make lunch, a heated wave of fire to power me to sunsetting, to push me hour by hour. You still worry about good from rain. I wanted to know if she'd still be waiting. When I opened door again, she's still seemingly where I left her, a slightly short for me by doorstep or moved by time or wild animal. Stub against a dying brown field. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Chingy. Next up is Shanta Lee Gander, who is the 2020 recipient of the Arthur Williams Award for Meritorious Service to the Arts and was named as Diode Edition's full-length book contest winner for her debut poetry compilation, Ghetto Claustrophobia, Dreamin' of Mama While Trying to Speak Woman in Woke Tongues, June 2021. To see her photography and writing, visit her website at shantaleegander.com.
So I'm going to read The Return of Hyena Man, which was inspired by a Ghana tale about the Hyena Man. The Return of Hyena Man. She barely escaped him once, shifting from tree to water to stone, then to something else. No one knew it, but Hyena Man had a brother. No one knew it, but Hyena Man had a whole den just like him. Now that he knew there were others like her, a pack of them would be back. The sun at its highest, the sky, cerulean, wiped clean of clouds. The gods bless this day good. She told Mama, she told Papa, soon I'll be far from here. Within a few hours, the whole village knew she'd be far, far away from here. In the middle of the celebration, Mama needed the details. Amid the sounds of giddy, senseless, happy, Mama demanded her to tell. I have land, just come with me. I have riches, come with me. No problem traveling across the sea. I have ships, come with me. A no won't be an answer, but let's say you refuse me. I'll still take you away. I'd take you far. I need the world to see my catch. Mama, I told him I'd become so strong and tall, extend my roots far from his reach, so sturdy and wide I'd be. His shadow and all like him would be swallowed by me. I'll let you grow tall, then cut you down, grow you so tall you'd kiss the sun. I'd cut you down and sand you smooth. You'll become a chest of drawers, the countertop in my kitchen, forever bound. Surely, what would be next for you? Mama, I said I'd become the most poisonous plant, poison to the taste, wicked to touch or smell. He wouldn't be able to get near me. I've trained and poisoned my whole life. I'll chew you and swallow you whole. After that, there'd be nothing for you to do. And what if I'm taking you to the place where I am world, where I am deity? Mama, you've tasted the honey of his words. It is too late. I can't save you from this fate. You are headed to Shangar. Child, be quiet, child, be still, and bide your time. Time will soon go missing. Child, if you be quiet, if you be still, I'll show you where gods go to die. And this one, he be no god of no one. He be the thief who has come to steal you from me. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Shanta. That line about "I will sand you smooth" reminded me that my stepmother used to tell me, "I will thump your pointy little head flat." So thank you for that memory. Next up is Ellen Wong, she, her, who is a widely published writer of poetry and speculative fiction, currently working on a fairy tale chapbook and an asexual horror anthology.
Hi, everyone. Can everyone hear me okay? Awesome. It's such an honor to be here. My poem in NOMBONO is titled Out of Sheol and Sticks. They are different words from different mythos of the underworld. Magma, lava, structures, ash, sewers of blood up to my ankles, remnants of everything. Darkness, screeching, corpses in the walls, demons, blinded angels, blurred faces, drowned voices, drowning each other out, forever in animalistic greed. Coins ripped out from beggars and offered to gods of bloodlust and anguish, everlasting thirst and stench of death, everlasting my Palm Sunday ass. I knit them back together at a touch. Flesh resurrected over dust and bones. I take their stolen hearts, pulsing, place them back, and they can see me. They can see me. I take the shades, the shadows, the hopelessness, gather the lost like little chicks, chaotic, take them back into the light in this place. Claws and teeth of this place rage. The battle is a smaller eternity and one that eats itself. Then I lift my hand out of the sheol, out of the sticks that drips with forgetting, out of the debris of a planet without a sun, out of the earth into this morning, and the sun shines through my hand. I think I'll keep it, pierced holes in my palm so they know it's me. They will tell you this is the end of everything, but it's not. It's the beginning. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ellen. Next up, we have Elsa Valmigiano. She, her, is an Ilocana essayist and poet and is the author of the essay collection, We Are No Longer Babaylan. You can visit her website at slicingtomatoes.com.
Okay, I'm gonna read two Mananggal discuss dinner plans. In Philippine folklore, the Manananggal is an attractive woman by day. Manananggal isolate themselves from the townsfolk, residing on mountainsides or deep in the woods. During the day, she lives among people, searching out prospective prey. Her usual targets are pregnant women. At night, she applies a special oil on her body while chanting a prayer. Fangs, claws, and huge bat-like wings sprout. She has long matted hair with big wild eyes. The upper half of her body separates from the lower half at the waist. Her intestines drape from the bottom of her severed torso as she flies to the roof of her victim's house and looks for any openings where she can insert her long, thin, proboscis-like tongue and pierce a pregnant woman's belly to feed on the fetus inside. So that's just some background. I was pregnant then. After 1,000 years, my sister and I no longer had gray skin, but evolved into brown like the rest. We no longer had dragon wings etched into our shoulder blades, but crooked spines, our bodies upright snakes underneath layers of winter clothes. Our slithering tongues replaced by pink, meaty flesh that would talk sex and eat sex and spew profanities when there was a full boat needing to be rocked. With stony eyes, my sister warned me not to eat my children. Her words were appetizers as I sat frozen in trance, stopping short of comprehension before crashing. But there was nothing I could do. My body eventually did. You were very much wanted in a world that doesn't want you. You were very much wanted in a body that didn't want you. My brown and white child had a viability smaller than a mosquito and yet indefatigable, leeching off of my flesh all day long. In exchange, my body would swallow it whole. A fine tango, an absurd little cuckoo bird popping out at midnight, or like dominoes falling without so much as the prodding of a finger, but soaking up the vibration of songs, teetering and then slowly toppling over. The healing herbs of the Mangkukulam, which our mothers would have brewed 1,000 years ago, have become the laughingstock of Big Pharma. When Big Pharma climbs over the fence, steals our herbs, and patents their loot with bottles that no longer read Makabuhay, but are unquestioningly followed to give life. They mass distribute their gritty little sugar pills like loaves and fish as if it were their magic. For us, our charm persists inside our bodies, declaring their own mutiny. What do dinner plans look like between Manananggal these days? Eating the young, eating their young, eating our own? We are tempted. We sometimes refrain. We sometimes give in. We haven't changed.
Thank you so much, Elsa. Next up is Faye Hernandez, they, she, who was born in 1993 in Chihuahua, Mexico, and is a trans Englewood-raised immigrant writer. They are a Define American Fellow for 2021 and is currently the board president of Gender Justice Los Angeles. Faye is the author of Hood Criatura, which was on NPR's Best Books of 2020.
Sorry, I was having trouble unmuting myself. Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me. I'm very blessed to be here. This is really beautiful and powerful. We're really building the new world, you know, with all this speculative magic. Find me. I send you these coordinates in hope that you will read them and find me. We are no longer connected by tribe. The land has been severed. I am made in your image, but when I chew past my cuticles, my insides are made of metal and wires. My motherboard encourages me to find you, hurry. She insists we are more than just this share of programs, yet it doesn't feel right to seek you, to aim to be you when you're gone on living as we should have, but I am only a prototype, a product of the cleansing in the year 2100. I am of the machine people, androids reprogrammed to fit any mold, any nation, remember less every 2 years so that my human blueprint be rewired to exist with easy commands of some higher corporation. And to them, the less emotion in me, the better. I don't know why I know I am losing time. I don't know what made me remember a severing from you before Mars. Am I part human, My core is becoming more and more empty of past memories. A fire is extinguishing, and I don't know where this poetry comes from. I must have been a poet in a past life. We are not needed in this one. They bribe us, machine people, with options to dress our avatars, pretty blush, colorful wings, different skins. I can change my lips, my eye color, because they want me to believe we are free. In this world, I can be anyone except what we were always supposed to be, peoples of a people. If you find this code somewhere on the expansive web of screens and data on Earth, I have 3 key words so that you can track my location, so that you know I belong to your kind and you can call me back, find me at all costs, even if you have to jump through time, rewire the future so I can live amongst you all on what you call a reservation for preservation. I know it's expensive to time leap, but time travel to save me. This Mars is war and there is no freedom. Kuseba siere, o pima. These are the only words I could send from a memory search and send them to Earth. Forgive my trespasses in human accents. I just need to be found. I hope this weak translation makes it. From Mars, AI 604-850798. Thank you.
Dr. Grizel Y. Acosta, she, they, is the author of Things to Pack on the Way to Everywhere and the creative writing editor of Chicana Latina Studies Journal. Welcome, Grizel.
Hi, everyone. I just want to thank Akua and Sundress and all my fellow readers. This is a wonderful reading. I'm having so much fun, and I almost feel sad that I'm reading now because I just want to hear everyone else so much, but I'm really excited to be here. This is Water Craters. Water conforms to the shape of its container, changes properties depending on the temperature. It is a malleable being, but humans could only perceive those limited metamorphoses. When pollution became too unbearable, leaking hairspray cans, dirty diapers, old cottage cheese, cigarette filters, and hazmat from batteries, fluorescent bulbs, and local refineries, all floating in our lakes and seas. Water changed. Something about the concentration of oxygen, its absorption through H2O, was altered. This gas we live on, too, can be toxic at high levels. At first, there were just a few more cases of aquagenic pruritus, an allergy to water. Soon, more and more people were in the ER with swollen necks, bloated bodies, collapsing in anaphylactic shock. Some tried to survive without bathing, the stench. Others hoarded fruits in order to hydrate that way. Produce became scarce only for the wealthy and well-protected, people with land. Eventually, even the fruit water became poison. We withered, became dry, brittle little beings, incapable of procreation. Move to the springs, the mountains, it was said, where no pollutants had ever touched the water. Mothers ran. there when they couldn't bear, giving their babies milk, tainted with water poison. But the water in our blood, saliva, sweat, mixed with the spring. The once pristine pools became forbidden. We turned our life source sick just by touching it. Our final, thick with salt tears, burned craters into our crumbling skin. Thank you.
Gustavo Barahona Lopez is a writer and educator from Richmond, California. In his writing, Barahona Lopez draws from his experience growing up as a son of Mexican immigrants. His micro chapbook, Where Will the Children Play, was part of the Ghost City Press 2020 summer series. Welcome, Gustavo.
Thank you so much. It's an absolute honor to be here with all of you and listen to all these like imaginings of other potential realities and futures and pasts. Okay, so I'm gonna share one poem. They call us fence hoppers. We call ourselves skywalkers. We began to incubate our wings to reach the sun before any tea parties or unifications, before the first fingers curled around a flagpole. We practiced collecting mangoes with no ladders, climbed smoke to harvest pearls from the sky. Each night, we delighted in picking cobwebs out of each other's hair. Now, the gateway to the earth, the heavens, is ajar to us. We drink water with our eyes. Rivers will never devour us. Joining hands, we synchronize our flight patterns, rocket towards the moon like Apollo. They call us locusts, forgetting how we have fed them. Our drums are their thunder. Our sabotage is their sublime. Their failure is not our responsibility, yet we reach out to them still. Our children use walls as volleyball nets, switch sides at each half. Our children project themselves upon deserts, pouring smiles down as if the cacti held needles in the shear of the, held cameras in the shear of their needles. We play hide and seek amongst the clouds, sculpt them into phoenix feathers. We chase each other over mountains and into valleys, knowing we choose when to return to the earth. Thank you.
Jenna Lee Shiher is the daughter of Vietnamese refugees, a New York City-based physician and educator, and the author of the poetry collections Six Rivers and a History of Cetacean American Diaspora. Welcome, Jenna.
Hi, it's such a huge honor to be here. And I'm so grateful to Akua for letting me be part of this wonderful community of such hopeful and powerful visions. I'm going to read my poem from the anthology, which also appears in my book, Six Rivers, and it's titled The Apprentice Pearl Divers. The candles in this room are not so bright as the eyes of the apprentice who misguessed how long a lanky boy with a narrow chest can hold his breath on a pearl dive. Hot nights, his ghost still slinks among the village bunks, beds of the boys who were his friends, lifting the cloths that overlie their naked flanks. He spanks them, teasingly scolding them for sloth. At breakfast the next day, they're too afraid to speak of what they saw. A boy, long dead, whose ardent eyes seared holes in their chaste sleep. Uneasily, they stand and cross themselves, troop to church in trembling groups of 10 or 12, and when the priest expounds on angels, weep. Thank you very much.
Jennifer Perrine, They, Them, is the author of 4 books of poetry. The Body is No Machine, In the Human Zoo, No Confession, No Mass, and Again. To learn more, you can visit her website, and the link is in the chat. Welcome, Jennifer.
Thank you. I've been enjoying so much reading your poems in the anthology, and it's been such a pleasure to be able to hear them in your voices too. I'm going to read my poem from the anthology. It's called Build. They built a bower. We were not allowed to rest in its shade. We built a tower that loomed over their crops. Sun-starved, they built a machine, planted it in our fields, painted it green so we would not see it, snatching our feasts from beneath our feet. We built a God that hooked its jaws through their children. They built a new universe. We watched them go, built gardens in their ruins. We grew restless, built a rocket. Inside, we travel across galaxies looking for their land. We build each day new ways to make them come home. We build up our hopes that this time they'll stay.
K.L. Lyons, She, They, is a poet from Tulsa, Oklahoma, and a citizen of the Muscogee Nation. Welcome, K.L. K.L., were you able to make it tonight? All right, well, if they sneak in, sneak them in at the end. Quincy Scott Jones is an educator and author of 2 books of poetry, the T-Bone series from Whirlwind Press and How to Kill Yourself Instead of Your Children from CNR Press. With Nina Sharma, he curates a Black Shop, a column that thinks about allyship between BIPOC artists. Welcome, Quincy.
If y'all hadn't called my name, I would just sat here and kept watching because you guys are taking me to other worlds. Thank you so much for having me, for being a part of this. This is so cool. My mother knew more of past. My father knew history. That is, his stories were rooted in reality. Wars nobody won and Jim Crow laws, the ordinary things he saw when he closed his eyes. It was his present that was filled with lies. He would come home taking off his tie, telling us about the paperwork that filed his day. We all know he really worked for the CIA. Tracking aliens. UFOs, men in black, things that aren't supposed to be there. He would follow them in the air, follow them on the ground, do it all before dinner. Saving the world from aliens and the aliens from the world. This involved mostly paperwork. And every now and then another agent would wander down the hall, hearing a rumor his son was working, organizing Negroes and causing civil unrest. My father would look up. Is this Sirius? Or Titan? Or the Andromeda Galaxy? Then why are you bothering me? I only do aliens. This brings me to my mother. Her past is a secret wrapped in cigarettes and short skirts and what she once said was way too much fun. So she invented another one. One in which she spent most of her college days century ahead on a pan-solar spaceship, working as a stewardess. This involved mostly short skirts and smiles, but it was a great way to travel. Unless the engine blew out and the hull started to unravel, which it once did. And my mother, the only one of the crew left, took control of the ship. for which she was promptly promoted to lieutenant, and then she promptly quit. Because a black woman couldn't be captain. And for the future, that was it. My mother returned to now, met my father and settled down. And that's how I see sci-fi. Your fantasy world can only be so bizarre. No matter where you go, there you are. Thank you so much.
Shagufta Mullah Shiher is an artist and emerging poet who formerly practiced veterinary medicine for 20 years. You can find her on Instagram in the link in the chats. Welcome, Shagufta.
Thank you, and I appreciate the opportunity to do this because all the submission for speculative poetry got me writing more speculative poetry, and so I'm going to read a new poem that is a bit of a comical take on having a dysfunctional childhood. Girl as a galette. The 2 limes on the kitchen counter are new, and I tell them that it doesn't matter to me if someone has lived a cool, oven-free life. I have been baked into apple galettes more than once and lived to tell. First, she preheats the oven to 450, washes my bruised fire engine red flesh with soap, then peels me into white. The limes roll closer together. The other part of me on the counter nearby used to watch sideways, folding my own doughy edges, trying to tuck myself tight as if under bed sheets. But this last time I'm bored, so I step off the baking sheet and say, I can only sleep on there so many times before, but she holds up her right hand and I sigh. Her slim index finger stands while the other fingers curl up like an eagle's claw, clasping a cottontail's neck. The lime's waxy green skins flatten against each other as they shiver in the corner. She spins her finger in the air as if speed dialing a rotary phone. I turn, my elastic softness gathering thoughts and debris off the floor, and she dusts my back with flour. I turn again and she brushes my face with egg whites or butter. I don't know which, but it's an unholy kind of slime. I look around the kitchen counter, but the limes are gone and I'm unsure where they went. A tender apricot sits nearby and he says, that's not how you make a galette. So I scoop up his fuzzy orange flesh and at the sink, I reach for the soap. He rolls out of my flat grasp and onto the floor. I yell after him down the hall. I'll make it up to you later by sprinkling turbinado sugar in your eye. But he slams the bedroom door. There are no arms to fold, so I sigh some steam, and my buttery brown crust crumbles as red clumps of sticky sweet plop to the floor. Thank you.
Uche Obuji, he, him, is a poet, spoken word performer, DJ, and electronics engineer, born in Nigeria, living now near Boulder, Colorado, after much world wandering. Welcome, Uche.
Thank you. Madusialapta, that's Igbo for, it's an Igbo proverb. Mankind emerged from the earth, from the ground. Huddled under high noon's blinding yellow, we must not imagine it to yoke our necks to this world, whose supplies are not deep enough. Oh, we'll burn through it all, wallowing in sloth, should we not to the cosmos turn all projects. This massive planetary womb makes us wish we could tarry just one more eon, maybe 2. We'll clutch at her wet tissues until mother, for the sake of brother species we smothered, constricts umbilicus to warn us we're due. She now holds us, throatful fledglings, over the rock and radiation abyss. Our feathers shall have to make their own sense of solar wind, out from this bubble of atmosphere we've ruined by space elevators to stretch our natal tether. This cradle is our gift, but no sort of right. Once the cotyledon has sheared the seed's hide, it can't abide the ground and thrives in upward thrust. Eke molts with each life returned to dust, teaching us healthy growth towards the far out wild. Eke is Queen Python. We know her bosom as Titan curve of all earthly creation. Her chi is the rainbow crown with nighttime space above her head for children to find their place. We're not meant to dwell even on home station. Eke chi is destiny, the hard beyond for mankind who emerged from cradle earth. It's time to push away the teat and forage the void, to answer scarcity with courage. What we squeeze from the vacuum shall define that we arrive wherever we make our moorings, with pride of stating that we are humanity, humanity who emerged from cradle earth.
Zeenat Khan Shiher is an Indian poet of 20, recently graduated from Delhi University. Welcome, Zeenat.
Hello, am I audible? Yeah, thank you for this space and collection. I'll be reading a very tiny poem from this collection, On That Day, which was inspired by an image by Stephen Keller. Yeah. On that day, when sky will melt under the boiling pressure of sea, pillars will have to stand from chairs to stop the inevitable fusion of blue. That day when mountain will meet mountain like resting shoulders of lovers. That day when trees will raise their arms in prayers for grasses, the light will come. And it will illuminate that this universe is just another egg among many, napping in the black nest. And maybe a tiny blue fish in search of her true color will follow the light, will cross the portal. On that day, the shell will crack, a new life will emerge.
What an absolute joy it has been to hear the poems from this anthology and to hear you all from your voice. It's so wonderful to have seen these poems kind of as like, you know, in submission boxes and now onto a page and now hearing them live. It's been absolutely wonderful. Again, big thank yous to Akua for putting together this amazing collection, and a big thank you for all of y'all to be a part. We do have, I just got in my text, one surprise final reader who is able to join us at the very last minute. So we do have one more reading before I go into my total wrap-up mode. Jamal Hodge is a multi-award winning television and film director who is an active member of the Horror Writers Association and the SFPA, being nominated for a 2021 Rising Award for his poem Fermi's Spaceship, while his poem The Silence of God placed in the 2021 Horror Writer Association Showcase. He is releasing his first poetry collection, The Dark Between the Twilight, next year, and seeks to use darkness to show light. Welcome, Jamal.
Hey, everybody. What's up, y'all? It's been amazing just listening to everybody. Hey, cool. You guys are awesome. Like, I'm like on the floor. I'm like almost like, I'm a little nervous to read this because my poem's a little effed up. But it's a little dark, you know. It's kind of like the anti-romantic poem about the dangers, the dark side of beauty, and what desire can do to would-be conquistadors, planetary wise. So bear with me, y'all. This is only like my second reading ever. All right. Loving Venus, resplendent against the infinite dark, luscious beauty without moons. Nothing must compete with her luminous vanity. Waltzing on her axis, performative slowness, allowing the universe one circle within one rotation of her curves. As we orbit her seductive charms, our arc reactor stalls, tempted by our nearness, she reaches, dragging us into love. 867 degrees Fahrenheit, beneath her yellow-white canopy, squeezing with eager tightness against our penetrating hull. Ignited by her heat, we lose ourselves to delirium, screaming incoherent promises as the atmospheric pressure rises. Computerized boosters cannot reach escape velocity. Crucial circuits malfunction. We plummet at her pleasure, our hull growing soft inside her, its harness spent. She does not relent, wanting more, deeper. 185-mile-an-hour atmospheric winds make satisfied howls. Her sulfuric clouds smell of rotten eggs. Lit by acid, our eyes glimpse desolate passions, a hellish revelation of volcanoes, lava, and boiling dust. William says, Venus does not favor a house of tears. She favors a house of hell. She is hunger without relent, a lover of bloody Mars, bathed in toxic glory. Our eyes escape their sockets, oozing down flaming cheeks. Harsh winds scatter the pieces of us, floating, lifeless, till our ashes kiss her empty heart.
Thank you so much. Let's give a big round of applause for all of our readers. Again, so happy to see y'all. So excited about this anthology. Remember, for those of you who don't have a copy in your hand tonight, that you can download your free ebook at the Sundress site. Link will be in the chat. The print edition is also available. I've lost all ability to speak. At a discount on our website. Link also in the chat. Thank you again to Akua. Thank you again to Bryn and Anna, who have helped in the background putting this amazing collection together. And let me tell you about some cool upcoming activities. Join us on November 10th from 6 to 7:30 Eastern for Inviting Imaginations, Short Forms and Historical Materials, a workshop with Holly M. Wendt. This workshop, participants will generate new work through the exploration of provided historical materials, while most creative writing conversations about the use of historical materials focus on the novel or book-length nonfiction. The specific aim of this workshop is to decouple the idea of historical source material from potentially alienating weight of research. More details and sign up information is in the chat. We would also love to see you next month for our November installment of the Sundress reading series. The event will take place on Wednesday, November 17th, so we're a little off than our normal time. It's not the Thursday before or the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, but the Wednesday before. It's from 7 to 8 p.m. via Zoom, and readers will be Anna Leahy, Kimberly Ann Priest, and Joy Jones. Again, details in the chat. Thank you all so much for your time and your energy and your amazing words tonight. It is a joy to see you all, and we hope to get a chance to host you again in the future. Thank you all so much for coming out.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Have a good one, guys. Thanks for having me. Appreciate y'all. Amazing work.
Thanks. Have a good night.
Bye. Have a good night.
Thanks for letting me hang with you guys. That was cool.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.